Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. This video is going to be a bit different. This is going to be, I guess, an opinion, kind of. I don't really know exactly what I would categorize this under, but a little bit of a backdrop. Over the last, it's not even a couple of weeks at this point, it's been a couple of months, I've seen the sentiment around cryptocurrencies, particularly from people who are in the cryptocurrency space, kind of slink down a tiny bit. A lot of people are, I think, a lot more pessimistic than they were obviously before. When prices go down, no one really wants to be in this space. Nobody wants to hear anything about cryptocurrencies. Nobody really wants to hear any type of news, especially even when we have been in a situation for almost, it's around 12 months now, where you get good news and prices continue to fall. Once again, this is my opinion over everything that's been going on. I'd like to try to put things into a perspective, if you will, simply because I have noticed all the information and all the puzzle pieces are slowly starting to form together. Maybe in the summertime it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I didn't really get it. I think I was also one of the very frustrated people, because when you kind of, I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll get it as I'm going through all the stuff, but let me know what you think, because I think there's a pretty clear pattern here as to exactly, at least in my opinion, what the future of cryptocurrencies are going to be. So looking around, you find tons of articles, and I think one of the main things that they like to talk about over and over again is how the cryptocurrency space is crashing. There was articles that I obviously didn't have in the other videos, simply because I'm tired of reading certain things. And there was an article talking about that, what was it? That Bitcoin is headed to zero. Bitcoin is in a death spiral. The prices of everything, as you may have seen right here on this screen over here, says nearly all the cryptocurrencies are down in price of around 90% or more. They talk about some coins that haven't, hit the bottom, that are almost there, that are, down from their peak. Ethereum was at 1,400 and now it's at 107 a couple days ago, or maybe even right now. I haven't checked the prices. Ethereum's price was around like $83. Horrible. Oh my gosh, woe is me. And when you read things like this over and over, when you hear news like this over and over, it kind of puts a damper on your life, simply because you start to wonder what you're doing with your investments, what in the world is going on. Arguments about manipulation completely aside, this is going to kind of touch a bit more into exactly what I think is going on. I tried mentioning something like this in a couple of other videos, but this will be, I guess, a bit more in depth. So to pretty much go from here, yes, a lot of the cryptocurrencies that many of us have invested into, like I've said before in many other videos, I'm going to assume that a large number of people out there have not just invested in Bitcoin, but they are in many other altcoins. So this is, why we constantly see this news. It was predicted sometime around the summer that crypto would rebound, or that we would have a situation where none of the assets would fall below 50% of their all-time high value at the end of December of 2017. So when I look around, like before I even make a normal video, I go through anywhere from 15 to different websites. I find news that is relevant to the day, because a lot of the news that we end up having, for those who don't know, typically pertains to blockchain. So there'll be new information about this country has a new blockchain voting system, this country has this. So when I look for cryptocurrency news in particular, I make sure, especially, just to be honest, especially now when the prices are down like this, there is, and I found it interesting as well, that a lot of cryptocurrency websites make sure that they post things like this. This isn't me singling out any one cryptocurrency website, because I think they're all guilty of this. A lot of them make sure that they post about how woe is me things are, but when you look around, you end up finding a lot of interesting articles, and I'm going to start going through them. The first one that we have, I'll read through these. Obviously, if you've been here before, this is kind of how I do things, and you'll get the bigger picture. Sequoia, Baidu, NASDAQ, and Fidelity are amongst some of the largest venture capitalists, technology conglomerates, and financial institutions to make big bets on crypto in the past week. Despite the bear market, which has led major cryptocurrencies to lose about 80 to 90% in value on average, both digital asset-related businesses and blockchain protocols are raising tens of millions of dollars from high-profile institutions. When we talk about cryptocurrencies normally, a large focus seems to be on the 80 to 90%. How much has been lost? I see people in the comment section. I understand. I understand your plight, even though you may think I am a shill or a fudster or that I'm being paid or that all these other things. I'm not. Just to clarify this one last time, and I'm probably never going to say this again, I am not paid by any company or corporation. There is no bank account that I have with Ripple where they shower me with XRP. I give you news that is out there, and this is what the channel is. What I've noticed from a lot of, and I thought this or ascertained from this situation, I think a lot of people who are into cryptocurrencies, and this isn't me being mean, it's just me being honest for the situation. I think a large fraction of the people who are into cryptocurrencies have probably never been into finance before. I think when they hear names like Sequoia or Baidu or NASDAQ or Fidelity, I think it either doesn't mean something to them or they've heard it in the past somewhere. They heard someone whispering it, they read it in a newspaper once, and it doesn't really mean anything to them. There's been such a huge amount of focus on how much money we're losing, how far the market is going down, how much money this person is losing, how this has to shut down, how this thing has run out of funding and therefore they need to shut down. But no one's paying attention to the names that are actually getting into cryptocurrencies, and not even just blockchain. Blockchain is something completely not separate, as they are the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? But it's crypto in particular that we are focusing on, and where other people aren't realizing that there's a huge amount of focus on it despite prices going down. On the 4th of December, NASDAQ, the world's second largest stock market operator in the world, and Fidelity, the 4th largest asset manager in the global market, invested in a cryptocurrency exchange called ErisX. The company secured a $27.5 million funding round led by NASDAQ Ventures and Fidelity Investments. In less than 2 months after it raised a funding round from TD Ameritrade, also a very big name who people may or may not know, the electronic brokerage giant valued at $30 billion. At the time, J.B. McKenzie, the head of futures and foreign exchange trading at TD Ameritrade, said that the firm's investment in ErisX demonstrates its interest in establishing a platform which, with accredited investors and retail investors, accredited pretty much meaning rich, and retail investors pretty much meaning normal everyday people, in the United States market, can invest in cryptocurrencies in a fully compliant and protected ecosystem. Another thing that a lot of people haven't really been paying attention to, and it comes down to the, people have not been paying attention to the names that have been getting into the cryptocurrency space simply because a lot of them are banks. I don't know how else to really sugarcoat that. The original idea behind cryptocurrency, or the idea behind Bitcoin, was to get away from people in the banking sector, to get away from this evil conglomerate, horrible banking system people. And I mentioned this before in other videos, and people once again called me names and so-and-so. They don't understand that when we talk about big money getting into the space, we're not talking about someone sitting in a loft in Manhattan, maybe potentially. The big money is this. It's the multi-billion, if not holding or responsible for trillions of dollars worth of assets. When we have these names, this is why you may have realized, I always say this and I'll say it once again, always do your own research. When you look at the names getting into cryptocurrencies, you may have wondered why I really am not bothered as much anymore with prices going down, and I'm constantly talking about this is my own personal opinion, when prices go down, why I'm constantly buying more. When you have a situation where you have the NASDAQ and Fidelity, even if it was just these two getting into the cryptocurrency space, big things, in my opinion, are going to happen. So on top of all of this information, they said, and I quote, "We wanted to find something that brings cryptocurrency to customers where they can see it on an actual exchange, something they feel comfortable with in a regulated space," end quote. With the newly acquired capital, ErisX CEO Thomas Chipas said that the company will begin to aggressively expand and team throughout the country to eventually provide support to institutional and individual investors in all 50 states. Keep in mind, and I'm going to try and mention this many times so that it sticks in the back of your head, if not the front, prices have been going down this entire year. It hasn't been 3 months. It hasn't been 6 months. It hasn't been 7 months. It hasn't been 8. It's been around 12 months right now. And we still have news that NASDAQ and Fidelity and Baidu and Sequoia are interested enough in cryptocurrencies that they are willing, after an 80 to 90% drop in value across the board, except for Bitcoin, which I believe is like 60 or 70% down or something like that. They're still throwing money at institutions and corporations who are trying to make cryptocurrency exchanges. Keep that in mind. On top of this as well, when I saw this, I actually smiled, because I've stated stuff like this before. And I mean, and I try my hardest. I really do. Like, I'm only human. It's very difficult not to say "told you so." Believe me, there's been a lot of instances where I really wanted to say it in a couple of videos. And excuse me if you don't agree with me or don't understand what I'm whatever the case might be. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are for the rich. The reason I make these videos, my channel, the reason why it exists since the first day it was made, is to make you understand that this is something for the rich. It may have eventually been, in the very beginning, something that was for everyone around the world, so that everyone can have a piece of this pie. It is going to completely change finance. It's going to completely change the world. The issue is that rich people were also reading the same exact dossier that we were reading, and they realized, yeah, it's going to make a lot of people rich. And they made sure, and are making sure right now, as prices are still going down, that it's going to be them. There was a video that I made before I changed kind of like the image of the channel. This was like one of my old videos. I was like sitting in a chair or something like that next to a wall. There was an event that happened. This had to be 2014, 15, somewhere random time frame around. It was years ago, and there was a situation where Bitcoin was still a couple of $100, and I think the guy who ran or still runs Virgin Airlines had something. There was news about him taking Bitcoin developers to his private island somewhere in the Bahamas. To talk about the cryptocurrency space, and apparently it was a big party. It was tons of fun and all this other stuff. And I told people in the video, I said, it's kind of weird, Bitcoin was at 1,200-1,300. It slammed back down. Everyone's talking about that crypto's dying, and yet every single news article that we had were just all these major institutions and stuff like that, or very rich people talking about getting into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space and how much they loved it. And I'm like, people didn't pay attention to how much money these people had. And I think before I trail off on another tangent, the point is, when I say that crypto is for the rich, I don't mean this was the original intention or the purpose of it, or that only rich people should have cryptocurrencies. I don't know. I said that in another video, and for some reason people got upset and thought that I said that crypto was exclusively for the rich. I don't know if people are just trying to get a rise out of me sometimes. I really just don't know. What I mean is that the distractions that we've been having over the last 12 months have played exactly into the hands of the rich. And this is why I said before, I cannot and will not tell you ever what to do with your money, but pay attention to where the money is going and who's acquiring cryptocurrencies. Why, after 12 months of prices going down, would major institutions even want to touch cryptocurrencies? For those who were here before 2017, you remember the news. Every single bank, every single institution, there was nothing positive about cryptocurrencies. There was never good news. There was never anything good said about cryptocurrencies. There was always people, I think it could be okay. The entire rhetoric was always blockchain over Bitcoin. That was a very big thing. There were tons of conferences about that, and luckily for us, that rhetoric changed simply because a lot of institutions realized that they couldn't actually build their blockchains quick enough to keep up with the other blockchains and cryptocurrencies that had already been birthed, that were already out there in the world. I'm going to read through a bit of this, and I'll get back to that once again in a second. You keep your eyes and your mind open for this. 12 months of prices going down. As Bitcoin continues its chaotic price action, ceaselessly falling and ascending through key levels. Some paranoid traders have feared that institutional investors have been alienated from the crypto market. Yet, reports indicate that Grayscale's growing war chest has continued to swell. While institutional players continue to express interest in crypto assets, this of course makes it more than palpable that institutions see immense value in cryptocurrencies and potentially that a market bottom is inbound. According to a research report released on the 3rd of December from the offices of crypto analytics unit called DR, Grayscale Investments, a self-proclaimed trusted authority on digital currency investing, has accumulated thousands of Bitcoin for its in-house Bitcoin Investment Trust, or the GBTC. Since the start of 2018, Grayscale, owned by Barry Silbert, brainchild of Digital Currency Group, or the DCG, has seen his Bitcoin coffers swell by 30,600 Bitcoin to a total of 203,000 Bitcoin in total, now accounting for more than 1% of the asset's total circulating supply. When I mentioned stuff like this before in other videos, I don't know if people thought I was joking, if I was spreading FUD, if I was a liar, if I didn't know what I was talking about. The amount of comments that I've seen with people talking about that I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not a genius. I'm not a brainchild or wunderkind. I'm just myself. I've been in this space for so long. All the information is at the front of my head constantly. Like, I see exactly where all of this is going. When I say that we know that there are, Grayscale aside, that we know that there are other institutions who own 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, if not more Bitcoin. It's true. I'm not lying. I don't make these things up. Like, I'm not trying to make it seem like, yeah, I'm really cool. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I read nonstop. This is all I do. When we had news a couple of years ago, for those who were not in the cryptocurrency space, also made a video on this years ago when the channel was relatively kind of different. And I said that there was news that the Winklevoss twins also owned 1% of all Bitcoin in the entire world. And people said, no, you're lying. And then we had that information before. You can Google this right now. 96% of all Bitcoin is held by 4% of Bitcoin wallets in the entire world. And I think that number goes down every single year. So the 96% goes up because they're holding more of it. And the 4% actually goes around to like 3 point something percent. There's an actual website where they show the, it's not the Bitcoin rich list. I can't remember the exact name of it, but there's like a graph and they show like all the wallets that are out there. They show how many wallets have like 0.0001 and less of a Bitcoin, and then 0.01, and then it kind of goes up from there. And by the time you get to 1 Bitcoin, there's already like a very like finite number. If you compare it to like 7.4 billion people who are walking on this planet, by the time you get to the very like richest people, there are very few addresses, and people have said or claimed that these are from cryptocurrency exchanges, that they belong to so-and-so. A lot of that has been completely debunked because we have people who are looking at these wallets every single day. This is why there's such a huge fervor or situation whenever 30,000 or 15,000 Bitcoin gets moved from one wallet to another. People know exactly what's going on. So people pay attention to these wallets and they know more or less exactly which wallets correspond to the largest cryptocurrency exchanges that we have in the world. When I say that Bitcoin and crypto is for the rich and is only going to be for the rich, this is why I implore all of you, in my opinion, to please pay attention to what's happening. This is going to be the only instance, I believe, in our entire lives where we have the chance to make money like this. This is not me telling you to FOMO into the market. This is not me telling you to go out and run and buy fractional anything. Why would an institution continuously buy a currency that's falling down in value? What value do they see in something that is being decimated in price? If you were in any other situation, it's like, why would you buy a car? Why would you buy a house? Imagine trying to buy a house that you saw for, let's say, $500,000 at the beginning of the year. And then by December, you go to see the house and like half of the house is on fire. And you're like, how much is the house now? And they're like 13,000. And you're like, what's wrong with it? Oh no, it's totally fine. You would walk away. Everyone would look at you like you're completely insane. Why would you even want to get near that house? Lo and behold, I've been saying this for quite some time. I have a strong inkling that the amount of in my opinion, when the cryptocurrency market does go back up, I think at this point it's an inevitability, my opinion. We are going to start realizing how little of every single cryptocurrency is out there. For those who want coin names, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, EOS, Stellar. I don't have the other coins at the front of my head right now, but maybe potentially even Neo. Just focusing on the top three. This is where the money is for those who don't know. If Grayscale has accumulated 1% of all the Bitcoin circulating around, there are at least 30 other institutions on this planet who are also accumulating at that scale, or who may have already been accumulating for the last couple of years, even when Bitcoin was a lot lower. I have a very strong feeling that of the 4 to 6 million Bitcoin that we know are completely lost and gone forever, with the it's estimated that we have at least 4 to 5 million Bitcoin actually floating around in the world. The rest being lost and stuff like that. I assume that there's probably less than realistically 2 million, maybe 1 million Bitcoin actually floating around right now. That's kind of how I'm gauging things. You'd better believe if the New York Stock Exchange, Fidelity, and the NASDAQ are getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they're buying them. You don't get as a multi-billion-dollar corporation or potentially holding trillions of dollars in assets, you don't announce that you're getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in 2018, like we had the news from the other ones who were talking about this since 2014, that they were thinking about getting into the space. They've been accumulating this entire time. Not even going to read further in on this article. This should be more than enough to convince you of the future of cryptocurrencies. Once again, don't FOMO into the market. No one knows exactly if the market is going to fall a bit lower, but it literally pays to pay attention, just to look at everything that's coming towards you. I know there are definitely a lot of people who have got it at this point. Golf clap to you and thumbs up, like I really mean that, because something big is going to eventually happen. And I think a lot of everyday people, I'll say it that way, are going to be really caught off guard. What the general public is being fed right now, especially depending on where you look on TV, on where you get your news. And I told you guys before, I said, don't you think it's really weird that Forbes and Bloomberg, they're all talking so nice about cryptocurrencies right now, but when you look at other things, first of all, those are geared towards rich people. They're for rich people to understand that there's money to be made in this sector. But when you look at other news, they make sure to focus on the fact that crypto's falling. Man, how much lower is it going to fall? There's never real information or news about who's getting into it. It's never like, well, did you hear that Grayscale now owns 1% of all Bitcoin? It's like, well, Bitcoin fell by another 400% today. I mean, how much lower is this thing going to go? It's always something to make you look the other way, to let you not really get that all of this is happening. Think about how much money there is in the world, how much, not even from institutions. Once again, this is like the 18th time I'm saying this to kind of drill it into your head. We had news earlier this year that one guy in Dubai, this was in May, since the beginning of 2018, had accumulated 30,000 Bitcoin. Do you think he stopped? Do you think he was like, no, I think 30,000 is enough. I think I'm rich enough. I don't really know. I'm going to donate all the Bitcoin that I have right now. And imagine his friends and his friends' friends and the other people who can throw around a couple million, who just buy 50, 60, 70 Bitcoin on a whim because they didn't feel like buying a car that day. Not to spend an enormous amount of time, but really get it. Like really understand when we have, and now you'll get it. You'll get it as I'm going through the rest of the video. This is NASDAQ and Fidelity joining together to and invest in a new cryptocurrency exchange while prices are going down. You may have noticed a large amount of news as prices have been going down, we never really talk about Jim Breyer. But you know, there's Tom Lee, there's Mike Novogratz, there's that other rich guy with the hair. Whenever they're in the news, are they ever concerned with crypto prices going down? They may give us price predictions. They may talk about where they see crypto going. They may see so-and-so. They may talk about blah, 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 you know. And, you know, prices are definitely going down. But me and my company, we have definitely, we've been accumulating this whole time. You know, we're doing so-and-so. The fact that none of the richest people on the planet are concerned with the crypto prices going down, and yet they're still getting into it. Even though, and I'll give you not even a double-edged sword. A lot of people say that the reason that these people are doing so is because they own huge amounts of cryptocurrencies and that they are trying to fill their coffers and they're trying to so-and-so and they're trying to get other people to get into the market. That's true. That's how the world works. But on the other side, when you look at the corporations and companies who they're actually involved with, they hold so much weight that they can create apps and companies that'll specifically be built around cryptocurrencies. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't really get, and this is going to be a bit of a segue as well, when Bitcoin was floating around, let's say $1,200, $1,300, this was a long time ago, and I told people, my friends, family, everybody, I was pretty certain that Bitcoin was definitely going to hit 10,000. That was not a thing to me. And I said I was wondering if it could hit 50,000, and everyone looked at me like I was completely insane. They said, there's no way. There's not enough money in the world. I'm glad that's been debunked. There's no way that much money would ever enter crypto. Why would anybody use Bitcoin over normal cash? Like, there's no... Do you see how slow Bitcoin is? This was echoed many times before. Hello to all of you out there who have been here for this long. When I made a video about XRP and the price was less than 1 cent, and I told people it was going to go to 1 cent, and people laughed at me. And then I told them it was going to go to 10 cents, and nobody listened to me. And I told them it was going to go to $1, and everyone was shocked when it hit $1. When these people buy into these coins, they're not doing it randomly, haphazardly. They're not doing it because they like the way that Bitcoin rolls off their tongue. They've done an enormous amount of research. They have people who research markets for a living, and they tell them, sit down and find out exactly how big this could go. Tell me if this can hit $1 million. Tell me if this can hit $250,000. Is it possible that Bitcoin could one day hit $10 million? What would need to happen to the world's economy? Tell me what the prediction is for the stock market that we have right now. Tell me when this is going to go down. Do you think money will flow into cryptocurrencies from the stock market? Is this all plausible? If I buy it for 10,000, what's the chance of it going to $250,000? Okay, I can get around, 15, 20,000 Bitcoin in no amount of time. People aren't looking a lot deeper to who's in cryptocurrency, what they're doing, why they're getting into cryptocurrencies. These people aren't buying Bitcoin so that it can go down. They're not buying it so that it can stay at the same exact value. They're not buying it so that it goes, they're not buying $10,000 Bitcoin so that it can go back to 20,000 and they can dump it. They see that if it was just retail investors, that's, once again, normal, everyday people, who pushed up Bitcoin's price to 20,000, imagine what a couple quadrillion dollars, that's all the money in the world, can do to the price of the cryptocurrency market. This is tying into it as well, obviously. It's important to make sure... And I know a lot of people, you're very frustrated, especially when you try to tell your friends and family about the cryptocurrency space, and they should get into it. You should definitely look into it. The nicest way that I can think of saying this is, and I said this to a family member and she was not too happy. This was a long time ago. I said everyone wants to be rich, but not everyone is going to be rich. Everybody wants to make it, but everybody, even if it... people don't want to do what it takes to become rich. And that can be as simple as reading articles, figuring out who Fidelity is, looking deeper into why the New York Stock Exchange is getting into the cryptocurrency space. Why would Fidelity be launching a cryptocurrency trading platform? This was made in October. Prices were still down. Like, prices haven't gone up this year. Why? Fidelity Investments' Tom Jessup believes that 2019 will be a big year for cryptocurrency. Well, that's really weird. I mean, You're launching a cryptocurrency trading desk. Prices have been going down the entire year. Why would this person think that crypto is going to go up? You know, why are they trying to profit from it? Like, is there money to be made in a market where everything has completely been going down? Why is NASDAQ launching a Bitcoin Futures 2.0 in early 2019? Why is everything launching in early 2019? What a really weird time frame that in this summer we had so many organizations and corporations and other places talking about that they were launching something in, what was it, September, October? And then it was December. And now they've all simply bound together at the exact same time to talk about that they're all launching stuff at the beginning of 2019. What a really weird time frame. Why are all these entities getting into cryptocurrency, especially after prices have been dropping down? I mean, it may not be clear for everyone else, but at this point, this is all but crystal clear. And make sure, and I say this with earnest, and this isn't a joke, make sure that you do your own research. Anything I say, anything I speak about, take with a grain of salt and do hours worth of research. Figure out exactly what you want to get into, if crypto is right for you, if you want to even get into cryptocurrencies, if you want to put any more money into cryptocurrencies. I believe, regardless of what you want to believe, that the winners have already been chosen. I think when they want to list several cryptocurrencies, I think they know those several cryptocurrencies already. There was another, who was it? They were talking about that they wanted like the public's opinion to see exactly which new cryptocurrencies they were going to add to their platform. I think they already know. And I think you already know as well. And I mean, is that a phrase? The proof is in the pudding. I feel like I've definitely heard that before. When we had, I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, when we had news before that the New York Stock Exchange was thinking of getting into cryptocurrencies, a lot of people, I think the prices actually fell that day, and I sat there perplexed. If we had news in 2017 or 2016 or 2015 that someone from the New York Times had even said the word Bitcoin, prices would have skyrocketed around 49%. When we had news that the head of the New York Stock Exchange said that he thought or thinks that Bitcoin could be a world currency, prices also fell a bit that day as well. And I get it now. I get why prices have been falling. We know that all the institutions are buying over the counter. For those who don't know what that means, I was telling that to a friend earlier. Hello, if you're listening. And they were asking me what OTC means. And I guess it's so obvious to me because I feel like I've been doing this for ages. Over the counter pretty much means when you buy on a cryptocurrency exchange, it's like recorded. And like, this is where, like, when you look at the coin prices and stuff like that for things that are happening in the cryptocurrency space, you get like, it shows like the metrics, you know, someone bought 50, someone sold so-and-so, someone bought 5,000, someone sold so-and-so. When you buy over the counter, it never touches the numbers on the cryptocurrency exchange. So it's completely, you buy from Coinbase, or you buy from so-and-so, or you buy from Gemini, but it's not going through the actual computer. Like, you're getting cryptocurrency from their reserves, and they're sending it to you from their own systems and not from the actual cryptocurrency trading desk that they have on their platform. This is what OTC means. Sorry if I didn't really explain that before, but there it is. We know that the major institutions have been buying over the counter simply because, hint, if you had bought 1% of all the Bitcoin in existence on any cryptocurrency exchange while the prices were going down, we would have about a $67,000 Bitcoin because they bought up 1% of all the Bitcoin in the world. So when the head of the New York Stock Exchange says that he thought that, or thinks, once again, that Bitcoin could be a world currency, if that doesn't ring any bells in your head, or you don't think that Bitcoin or crypto is going to make it, you probably maybe want to take a couple of days off and reevaluate the situation. When you get the New York Stock Exchange head saying that Bitcoin and crypto are here to stay, these people, these rich people, know other rich people. Rich people know very rich people. And I mean, I'm just I feel like I'm out of steam. I hope you all get it at this point. What's happening is only what we see I know this sounds cryptic or malicious. What we see is what they want us to see. There's so much happening behind the scenes that we can't even begin to fathom the amount of money that's circling around all of this. If you've ever read any books on cryptocurrencies, I think they're incredibly interesting, simply because a lot of them will focus on what's it called? Like not the past, but like where cryptocurrencies are going, or like it'll talk about the original people in the cryptocurrency space. And some of the most interesting things that I've found about all of this is that when you hear their stories about some of the earliest people, and they're people in like hunting lodges and stuff like that, and they show people the ease of using cryptocurrencies and how quick it is to send Bitcoin and how quick it is to do this and how much money they made on it. And they're talking to these multimillionaires, billionaires, and this is years ago, and they're talking about, these people were like, oh, that sounds really cool, I'll meet up with you on Monday. When they meet up with these people ask them, so I have about 5 million lying around, how do I put it into Bitcoin? There's not a lot of cryptocurrency floating around out there. I'm hoping that we will eventually have proper metrics, especially in the future, when people are trying to buy these things up and they realize that they're just not there. That's going to do great and wonderful things for the prices. My main gripe about all of this, and I've said this before, is that the people who should be into crypto aren't. And we're going to have another situation. I believe the events of the last stock market crash are going to replay in some capacity. And I don't know if that's having a similar event, if it's going to be worse, if it's going to be slightly better. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are going to be in poverty. A lot of people are going to have a very hard time financially. And these are the people who should be looking at cryptocurrencies, but they're not. The richest people on the planet are going to stay the richest people on the planet. I remember one of the things that I heard at the very beginning of me getting to Bitcoin, not even cryptocurrencies, was that people believed, and I'm pretty sure there are still people out there who do believe this, that the money and power would be taken away from the wealthy and given back to the everyday normal people because of what Bitcoin is and how it can be fractionally bought and sold, and therefore everyone has a chance to own it. When you have news, this is my opinion, when you have news that one company owns 1% of all the Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies are going to make people very rich. And I mean like disgustingly rich. We still have estimates that some of the first trillionaires will be around in our lifetimes, and that's within the next 10 to 15 years, whether that be from other major companies or from cryptocurrencies. We're going to have trillionaires on this planet very soon. We're going to have a lot of people who don't even have a buck to their name. If we do end up hitting a period, not to sound really somber, if we do end up hitting a period where Bitcoin's price does end up hitting $1 million, let's say $10 million, this is all, I mean, no one can know. People give me a lot of flack when I say numbers like that. None of you thought it would go from a cent to 20,000. None of you, 0% of you out there. No one really thought that. A lot of people years ago, you could have never told anyone that Bitcoin would go from 2 cents to potentially 100,000 next year or even the year after that. No one knows. We do get a situation where Bitcoin is worth $10 million, and you figure out that you could have put money, it comes out to around like, what is it, $38 right now to get 0.01 Bitcoin. And if you have a $10 million Bitcoin, that's worth $100,000. This is who Bitcoin and I think crypto benefits. I know we're not supposed to be thinking about the prices in more specifically for cryptocurrencies that is meant to be a movement. This movement has started. It is on a high-speed train, and it's moving without a lot of people. I think you're all very lucky for being into crypto right now. You may not realize it. You'll realize it in a couple of years. You're going to have a lot of people one day coming to your door, knocking on your door, or sending you a text or sending you a Facebook message asking you how you did it. How did you see the future? How did you? And it's basically all of this. It's everything that I showed you. And this is just focusing on like 5 or 6 places, institutions in the United States. Imagine what's happening around the rest of the world. Like, there are very rich countries in the world. Like, imagine what's happening in Liechtenstein or in Switzerland. Like, imagine what's taking place in these areas where people just have money to throw away, and they are simply just throwing millions into cryptocurrencies because they can't think of anything else to invest in right now. To kind of yeah, my computer is slowing down for those who didn't notice. If you've been here before, my computer is horrible. To kind of finish this off, just to put the little digital cherry on top of the cake, we had a lot of news, especially at the beginning of this year, where there were a lot of banks in particular, and I'm focusing on this one, where they were talking about how much they hate cryptocurrencies, how they couldn't stand cryptocurrencies. When people were trying to buy cryptocurrencies with credit, the banks were shutting down their accounts. People had their accounts frozen. People were trying to open up accounts. If you were like a cryptocurrency exchange and you were trying to open an account with this cryptocurrency exchange, you were told, crypto exchange with the bank, you were told, no, you can't do it. Sorry, we're not taking any more. No, we don't want your business. We don't want so-and-so. And it was very difficult for a lot of people. This is why we had that news that the Litecoin Foundation was buying a bank. And who was the other one? Some other company, something I can't remember right now. Oh yeah, it was the German crypto exchange who bought 100% stake in a bank. They're doing this for a reason, because banks for some reason were pretending like they didn't like cryptocurrencies, and they were banning purchases, and they were doing all of this other stuff, and they were freezing people's accounts. One of the reasons why I love the internet is that everything can be found if you look deep enough. Everything is kind of there. This was the beginning of the year when Bank of America was banning crypto purchases. And then you look in 2013, 5 years ago, and even updated whatever, news about Bank of America talking about that Bitcoin has clear potential for growth. Why would you talk negatively about cryptocurrencies or ban people from buying it? But you see that it has clear potential for growth. What reason would you have in order to kind of do something like that? It comes down to, once again, money. People who are not meant to be in the cryptocurrency space, rich people don't want you. This is, I try to be jolly typically, and other parts of the channel. Rich people don't want normal people in this space. There's a reason why stocks and bonds and mutual funds aren't really like advertised to normal people. When you go into a bank, what do you see typically? They tell you to take out a loan. They show you photos of happy families hugging each other, asking you don't have enough money? Take out some money with us. Take out a loan. There's a reason why they don't tell you to invest in the stock market. I've met a lot of people on my journey through the financial world. Haven't met all of them, obviously. But when you get the gist of what's happening with money, and I say this now, and I think it's going to be funny to a lot of you, even if it's just a fraction of you in the future, become very, very rich, and I don't mean that in a joking way, when crypto, in my opinion, does take off one day, and the coins that you've been holding or that you've been buying make you relatively rich and or wealthy, you're going to start to understand a bit more what money actually means, and what it means to rich people, as far as like who can play the game and who can't. Just the things that I've heard over the last couple of years are really intense. I'm not going to say, I'm pretty sure I'll like leak some of them as the channel goes on, because, I always end up going off on a tangent and talking and stuff like that. When you hear major institutions talking about that they hate cryptocurrencies, they're not getting into cryptocurrencies, that they don't want to touch cryptocurrencies, when they ban you from touching cryptocurrencies, when they make it difficult for you to buy into the market, they're only doing it for one reason, and it's because it sounds stupid. It sounds really stupid, but they're afraid of you getting into the market and taking what they want. You may only have enough money to buy 0.01 Bitcoin, but for them, that's 2 Bitcoin too much, if you get exactly what I'm saying. Just thought I'd try to put things into perspective. Like I said, this entire video was my own opinion. These are things that are happening in the cryptocurrency space and in the real world and in the actual financial world right now. This is just how I see things through my lenses, eyes, what have you. I think crypto is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be very upset that they weren't in. That's not me telling you to FOMO into the market, but please pay attention to all the stuff that's going on. The money's there. The money's going to continue to be there. And yeah, I think I'll just end it on that note. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I really hope it's absolutely fantastic. I know the market has been going down for months now. If you are a true believer in crypto, and even if you understand the signs that I've just given you, you can pretty much see that crypto probably has a very bright future. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all of your support, more than you could possibly begin to imagine. Thank you once again. And yeah, I will definitely talk to you all soon. See you.